Hello, everyone. Welcome to Easy English Podcast. I am your host, Mark. I am ready to bet that you have a cup of coffee in your hands right now. Am I right? Most people in the world start their day exactly like this. For many of us, coffee is not just a drink. It is a daily friend. It is a warm start to the morning. It is a small spark that wakes the mind. Every single day, people drink more than 2 billion cups of coffee. That means at almost every moment, someone is holding a warm cup. Coffee gives us energy to work, but it also gives us time to think and talk. It connects people in small cafes and busy offices. It connects people in quiet homes, too. It is now one of the most important products in the world. In the past, wars were fought over it. Empires grew rich because of it, and revolutions were born near a coffee cup. But here is the strange part. The invention of coffee was never planned. It was not found by a king. It was not found by a scientist. It began with a group of dancing goats. Yes, you heard me right. Goats. This happened in the highlands of Ethiopia. This accident changed human history forever. So today, let's go back in time. Let's discover how one small red berry became the world's favorite drink. This is not just a story about coffee. It is a story about curiosity and mistakes. It is about the magic of human discovery. So, sit back and relax. Maybe take a sip from your own cup. Before coffee, life was very different. People worked with the sun and rested with the moon. There was no quick way to stay awake. There was no easy way to feel alert. When the night came, people grew tired. They stopped working. The common drinks were simple: water, milk, and wine. Water was not always clean. Milk spoiled quickly. Wine and beer were everywhere. People even drank them at breakfast. They helped people relax, but they made people sleepy. There was no drink to keep people focused. Humanity was waiting for something new. They needed a drink for the mind. They needed energy without drunkenness. It just needed one person to notice. It needed one curious heart to see what others ignored. Our story begins in the green highlands of Ethiopia. This was more than 1,000 years ago. There lived a young man named Kaldi. He was a simple goat herd. Every day he took his goats to the hills to eat. He loved his animals and knew them well. But one day, he noticed something very strange. His goats were jumping and running wildly. They looked so happy. They were full of energy. Kaldi was surprised. They had never behaved like this before. He followed them to see why. He saw that they were eating small red berries from a dark green bush. This was the moment that changed the world. Kaldi was a very curious man. He picked some red berries and tasted them himself. Soon, he felt very awake. He felt excited and full of life. He did not want to sleep at all. Kaldi thought, "These berries are special. They give strength and joy." He wanted to share this discovery with others. He took the berries to a nearby monastery. He met a monk there and told him the story. He told him about the dancing goats, but the monk was afraid. He thought the berries were bad. He called them the work of the devil. The monk threw the berries into the fire. Then, something amazing happened. As the berries burned, A rich smell filled the room. It was a beautiful and warm scent. The monks were very surprised. They liked the sweet smell. They pulled the roasted seeds from the fire. They crushed the seeds into a powder. Then they mixed the powder with hot water. That night, the monks drank the new dark drink. They found they could stay awake through their prayers. They did not feel tired anymore. They could speak with God in the quiet hours of darkness. That was the first cup of coffee in history. It was born from an accident and curiosity. Kaldi's goat started it, a frightened monk continued it, and a simple mistake created something great. Sometimes the best discoveries begin with an open mind. The story of Kaldi was only the beginning. But the real journey of coffee started later. The little beans traveled across the Red Sea. They went from Ethiopia to Yemen. There, in the 1400s, coffee found its true home. In Yemen, holy men called Sufis began to use coffee. They needed to stay awake for long nights of prayer. They discovered that roasting the beans made the drink better. It made it stronger and more delicious. At first, they did not have machines. They did not have special tools. They roasted beans in small metal pans. They did this over an open fire. They listened carefully to the beans. They waited for a tiny crackling sound. They smelled the air to know when it was perfect. It was a patient process. It was made by heart and hand. Sometimes the beans burned. Sometimes the drink was too bitter. But the Sufis did not stop. They kept trying again and again. With every mistake, they learned something new. They learned that heat could unlock the flavor. Soon the news of the drink spread. It went beyond the monasteries. Traders and travelers began to try it. They called it Huawa. This means the drink that gives strength. People drank it to study and to work. They drank it to feel alive. For the first time, there was a drink for the mind. It sharpened the mind instead of making it slow. The drink became part of daily life. In small clay pots, people began to brew coffee everywhere. They made it at home and in markets. It was a ritual to share time and conversation. Coffee did not stay in the mountains or monasteries. In the 1500s, it reached the famous city of Mecca. This was a very great center of the world at that time. This is where the very first coffee houses opened their doors. This was a real revolution for the city and for the people. Before coffee houses, people did not have many places to sit and talk. They did not have places to share their daily news or small jokes. Inside these new shops, the air was full of conversation and laughter. People drank their coffee and talked about their business and their families. They talked about poetry, and they talked about big politics too. They played interesting games and shared their big dreams. The coffee house became a new kind of open space. It was open to all ideas, and it was open to all people. But the people in power started to feel very nervous. They thought, if people sit together and talk too much, they will start a rebellion. They were afraid of new thoughts and loud voices. In the year 1511, a governor in Mecca tried to ban coffee. He closed the shops and said coffee was bad for the city. He said it was bad for the soul and for the law. But you cannot stop a person who loves their warm cup of coffee. People began to meet in secret, in small and dark rooms. They shared their cups and they shared their whispers. For many of these people, coffee was not just a drink. It was a symbol of their personal freedom. It gave them energy to think and to ask questions. Later, when the drink arrived in Europe, there was even more debate. Some church leaders were very afraid of this dark water. They called it the drink of the devil because it came from far away. They thought it was dangerous for the people. They asked Pope Clement VIII to forbid the drink forever. But the Pope was a very curious and wise man. He decided to taste the coffee himself before he made a choice. He took a small sip, he smiled, and then he laughed. He said that this drink was so delicious that it would be a sin to ban it. He blessed the coffee and told everyone to enjoy it. After that, the whole of Europe started to drink with joy. But not all kings were happy about it. In England, King Charles II also tried to close the coffee shops. He called them places for troublemakers and talkers. But the people of London protested very loudly. They did not want to lose their favorite places. The king saw the anger of the people, and he had to stop his ban. Coffee had won the battle against the kings and the laws. It became a symbol of open talk and open hearts. It was the drink of the people now. Coffee houses in Europe became very popular and very important. People called them schools for adults. For just one small coin, you could hear the smartest people talk. You could learn about new science and beautiful art. You could hear about discoveries from far away. But the biggest and best change happened in the morning. Before coffee, many people drank light beer with their breakfast. They did this because the water in cities was not always safe. Can you imagine that? A whole city was a little bit drunk and sleepy in the morning. When coffee arrived, the world finally woke up. People became focused, and they became very fast. They worked much better, and the economy started to grow. But the coffee plants themselves were a great secret. The Arabs did not want anyone else to grow the trees. They wanted to be the only ones to sell the beans to the world. They were very careful with their treasure. However, in the 1600s, some Dutch travelers took a few plants secretly. They took them at night and put them on ships. They started growing them in Asia and then in South America. This was the start of the global coffee trade. Then a young French officer had a very brave idea. He wanted to take a small coffee plant to the island of Martinique. This was a long journey across the Atlantic Ocean. The trip was a real nightmare for him. There were terrible storms and dangerous pirates on the way. The ship had almost no fresh water left for the people. But the officer was very kind and very strong. He gave his own small portion of drinking water to the plant. He wanted to keep the little tree alive at any cost. He saved the plant, and he reached the island. From that one small tree, millions of others grew in Latin America. Soon, coffee plantations were everywhere in the New World. In the 1800s, Brazil became the big leader in coffee production. They grew more coffee than any other country. Later, the Italians invented the espresso machine to make coffee very fast. It made the drink strong and rich. Then, in the 20th century, instant coffee was made for people with no time. Today, coffee connects farmers from Vietnam to the hills of Colombia. It connects workers in big cities like New York and Paris. It is a global product, and a part of every modern culture. We all drink it together and it brings us closer. It is a simple bridge that unites different nations and different lives. It is truly the drink that changed the way we live and work every day. The story of coffee is a great story of human curiosity. It started with simple goats in the green forests of Ethiopia. It ended in every big and busy city on our beautiful planet. Coffee gives us much more than just energy to work every day. It also gives us a very important and special reason. It is a reason to meet, to sit down, and to talk to other people. When you say the words, "Let's grab a coffee," you really mean much more than a drink. You really want to spend some quality time together with someone. You want to share your life, your news, and your big ideas. Coffee is a warm and strong bridge between old friends. It is also a bridge between people who do not know each other yet. Your cup has a very long and very interesting history. This dark drink crossed many big oceans to reach your table today. It survived many old and very strange laws in the past. It survived many angry kings and many different bans. Coffee was much stronger than all of those kings and laws. So please remember this long journey when you drink your coffee today. Remember the accidental fire in the old monastery. Remember the bright red berries and the dancing goats in the forest. Remember the brave French officer on the big and dangerous ships. Every single sip of coffee is a small piece of human time. Every sip is a piece of our global history. We are very lucky to have this delicious drink today. We are lucky to share it with our family and our friends. We're lucky to share it with our colleagues at work. Thanks for listening to this episode of Easy English Podcast. We really hope you like this long story about the magic of coffee. Please watch our other video about the history of the world. It is also very interesting and good for English students. Subscribe to our channel right now to help us grow. Your support is very important for our small team. We want to make more and more helpful videos for you. We want to help you learn and speak English very fast. See you in the next video very soon. Goodbye, and have a truly great day today. Enjoy your warm cup of coffee and your free time. Keep practicing your English every single day. You are doing a great job, and I am proud of you. Bye-bye for now, my dear friends.